Right, good evening. Welcome to the 12-man podcast, live on Facebook, on not live on Spotify and all your good stuff. You got me, Steve Jackson. I'm your host for the evening. Just the two of us tonight. Plymouth took it a bit out of Mr. Donovan. He was in a very merry state for a couple of days, bless him. So he's freed up enjoying the rest of his birthday celebration. So yes, many happy returns, Mr. Donovan. But I have got Mr. James Dalgarno with me. Evening, Dally.
How you doing, pal? All right?
Yeah, doing good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Have you recovered from the long trip south?
Just about. I was at work today as well. It absolutely killed me. Horrendous. Yeah, it was a very, very, very long trip, but it was good. It was worth it. Result wise, whatever else happened after that, yeah, worth it. Really, really good. So, but yeah, we'll talk about Plymouth. We'll talk about the weekend. I'll give you some stories from the weekend that I can. Some absolute crackers. People will be delighted to know that if you did see a guy in a dress, you weren't seeing things that was Mr. Craig Fletcher. How he got a dress in there, I don't know. But it was good. It was a great trip. So we'll go through that, and we'll preview our Christmas schedule because we've got a busy one coming up. Before we speak again next Monday, we've got Sheff Wednesday and Burnley, both heading to the Riverside. So it's a long, so it's going to be a long Christmas for us. A tough one as well. Two teams massively good form. So yeah, but before we start, are we doing all right? We're good.
Yeah, I think I'm really good, but I think before we get into any football, big congratulations to yourself and the lovely Mrs. Jackson to be. So yeah, big congratulations to you guys. I'm sure everyone will join me in wishing you that.
Yes. Obviously we did the trip down to Plymouth. My lovely missus came with me. Went with a girlfriend, came back with a fiance. She
and it wasn't Craig Fletcher.
The way it was Saturday night, it wasn't far off it. But yes, it was. Magic moments. Football didn't put a dampener on it. It was class. It was.
No, congratulations to you both.
Yeah, amazing moment. So, yes, we've been told going to see 12-man bar after the Sheff Wednesday game. So, yeah, if you want to say. Well, if you want to say congratulations, feel free to do so. I don't care if you don't, but I'll be in the 12-man bar after the game on Boxing Day. So, yeah. Right. Plymouth. So, team came out, Dally. I'll get stuck into the game. I'll tell you little bits and bobs of what we did in between all of it. Team came out. Obviously, Dijksteel kept his place. Alien's foot's not quite 100%, is what we're gathering. Apart from that, both me and Mr. Donovan agrees. I had absolutely no problems with that team. I thought that team was about as strong as we were going to get on the day. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a good team. I think Conway and Lathrop going into the game were on the same goals for the season. I think I'd have expected Lath to start, but then obviously with stories coming out in the press about him on social media, and what the January transfer window brings, I think it was probably the right move to maybe leave him out and start with Conway. Again, Conway's.
Now you've mentioned. Sorry to jump in, but now you've mentioned about the rumours. Obviously, me and John spoke about it last week. What do you make of the stories about Lath? Obviously, everything coming out again.
From what I read, I didn't think there was I thought it got blown out of proportion a little bit, but sometimes there's no smoke without fire. If you look at the clubs he's going to go to, yes, financially, to himself, it's going to be a beneficial move on Premier League money. But here he's got the love, he's got the fan base here, and I think what better way than to get to the Premier League than to take your team up, and to help drag them up, and then you'll get your Premier League money. I think if we'd have took say we took maximum points from Leeds and Burnley, and we were then really in contention with the top two, running, would that story come out? I'm not so sure. Do I think he'll still be here? I think he will.
I do.
I think Gibson dug his heels in the last window, and then when you're halfway through the season, still within a chance of going up, why would you let him go?
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's a case of, you know, Borough have got to make the conversation with him and say, give us 6 months. Give us 6 months and then see where we are. And then if we don't go up this summer, for whatever reason, we'll have a conversation with the clubs that are interested and see. We'll go from there. But
that might be in the conversation they've already had in the summer. That might be in the conversation they've had the evening before the Cardiff game, when the transfer window closed. Maybe. Give us till Christmas, see where we are.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, I hope if that is the conversation, I hope he does think, well, you know what, they're right, because we are still sixth. We are sixth in the league going into the Christmas schedule. That's where we wanted to be. I think we all had a conversation a couple of months ago. If we get ourselves in the top 6 for Christmas, we'll all be happy. Which we say I'm delighted with. I'm happy with. Is there room for improvement? Of course there is. But there's examples in the game we're about to discuss. There's so many examples in that game we need to improve on. But we're in that fight. We're in that scrap for the playoffs, and it's exactly where we want to be. And nothing says we can't go ahead and push on from there. So hopefully he says the same opinion as us and go from there. But I say another one that came back in was Riley McGree. He came back in on the left hand side. I mean, I've got opinions on him when you did see him come back in, do you think, a much needed addition on the left hand side just to give us that bit of balance between Dork and Azaz as well?
I always I always feel stronger with Riley McGree, I'll be honest with you. I think Riley McGree's problem is, I think the form of Azaz has moved him out to the left.
Yeah.
I think Bergzorg took his chances really well lately, and I think we look better going forward with Bergzorg, I think, at times.
Yeah.
But like I say, I always feel we're a stronger team with Riley McGree, especially if he's on form. I think he's arguably our best player.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I said it weeks ago. I think he's one of the best players in the league. When he's really hitting it, and there was glimpses on Saturday where he really hit it and he turned on a little bit of a screw, and you thought, wow, yeah, he just clicked all of a sudden, just kicked into a game. But yeah, his best position probably is behind the striker. But like you said, the form of Finnish has at the moment, he's been absolutely phenomenal last month or so. Do you think Keith would have thought there's a bit of pressure on going back to Plymouth? A bit of something to prove. He's left there. Obviously, gone back to Villa, being sold to us. They've felt a bit bitter about it. We've lost someone. He's kicked on another gear for me again. Was it a game where you think, I've got to show him again why I've left and why I've moved on?
I think it's always like that. I think it's always like that for a player who's going back to their old club. But he's shown his quality. For us to go and chase him down and to bring him in. From this time last year and when we played against them. Does he have a point to prove? I think he's shown the Plymouth fans what he's all about. And he's gone to a team to attempt to go up. If you look at the league table, I'm sure Jonathan Woodgate would disagree, but it doesn't lie. So is it a step up in his career? At the moment, you'd have to say, okay, we're in the same league, and granted of the results, but this is a game that I would equate this game to the Rotherham game last year, where we actually went on and lost that game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously, we'll go into the game. Plymouth went into this game only scoring 19 goals all season. That's joint lowest with Cardiff. You you go into that game and you think we should be beating these by a couple. These are not, with all due respect to Plymouth. I love Plymouth. I think they're a great little club. I've got nothing but time for them. They do things the right way. I'm not keen on the manager, but I don't think anybody's keen on him, to be honest. But that, like you say, with all due respect, we should be beating teams like that. We should be putting them to the side, a bit like we did with Oxford a few weeks ago. We should be going there, foot on the gas, and hit them as hard as we can. But we get into the game. Conditions weren't great because they weren't. The weather was absolutely horrific. I mean, Timmy Leach was just coming about the left back. We will go into that, Timmy. Don't you worry about that. The conditions were absolutely horrific. I was on about the sixth bottom row. It was Christmas jumper day for us. We were all there in our Christmas jumpers. Absolutely soaked. Absolutely soaked. And you imagine, Christmas jumpers are quite heavy material anyway, aren't they? And water mixed on top of that was not the greatest combination I've ever had in my life. So, not a great start. We didn't really get into the game. I can't say we made a massive amount of chances. Hackley had one that picked Rowe's edge. McGree cut inside, lovely, and had a chance as well. But then the moment came, the first goal. Let's talk about the left back. We've all said, right, we need to improve on left back. He's a very hard-working left back. He is. And I can see where he's going about his game. But there's no secret anymore. Every team's targeting that position. And we're now starting to see why. Because although the ball came from the other ends, that's where the goal came from. That's where the defence came from.
I'll start by with the first goal.
Mm-hmm.
Dijksteel's we've got to have a bit of communication because Dijksteel's got to play, 8 yards away from him. That's unmarked. He knows he's unmarked. He seems to have been dragged inside. I know Van den Berg's gone out to try and close the player down. Why is your centre midfielder not closing that player down? Who's running at the edge of the box? Dijksteel, he's then got the 8 to 10 yards to make up. By that point, the player's already, first time put the ball across.
Yeah.
I believe it was the player who was in between Dijksteel and Van den Berg's then got a little flick on it. And then you're looking at the marking at the far post from Borges, who is the most un-Brazilian I've ever watched in my life. And, for him to start, does he start in front of the player? And the player, he doesn't know where he is. He's not looking. And he's over his right shoulder before he knows it. Sorry, over his right shoulder because he's looking back towards the goal. And it seems to be, like you say, teams are targeting the fullback.
Yeah. It's both sides, isn't it, as well? Because as harsh as, we might sound in the next 10, 15 minutes about Borges, I can't say that Dijksteeel was any better. And you're starting to see as well why he's not consistently in the team. You can see why Alien gets his spot because he's got that knack of being in the right position at the right time because he's got that experience. He's been there and done it. But Dijksteel should have that about him. And every single one of the 3 goals came from the flanks. Fair enough, the second goal came more from Edmondson slipping. And that's why he got in behind Borges. But he still got in behind Borges. I'm not going to be as harsh as what Jason said. He said, Engel had Sheff Wed, Borges had Plymouth. I don't think it was as bad as that, but it was bad.
Where is Engel? Bad. Where is Engel? Because as bad as Engel can be, he had no middle ground. He was either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
But for Engel not to even be pushing in competition for Borges, because Borges hasn't been fantastic. I would maybe I think you could probably count on one hand how many good games he's had. And like you say, teams are targeting him. They've noticed that as our weak link. But surely the way Engel came back after Sheff Wednesday last year, and he turned out to be, half decent fullback. He's had that one step. I mean, I watched him at Derby, and I thought he was really far off it. And then we got punished a couple of weeks later against Stoke, and he got battered that day. But he's never seemed to have a sniff since. Have they completely lost the trust in him? Is he injured?
For me, but it's obviously they've obviously lost the confidence to say that he can do the job now. I mean, it's just such a shame that Bangura got injured again and he's out
Yeah,
for the season because I feel like we wouldn't even be having this conversation. I think Bangura would be our left back, and I
yeah.
think he'd be settled in. I think he'd be playing well because when he did play for us, yes, he's not brilliant, and yes, he's not everybody's cup of tea, but I thought he was all right. He was my choice out of the two, and he always was. You know the fact, and I feel like other fans agreed with that as well. I mean, the fact that the guy came on for 2 minutes against Port Vale, and they was all doing the conga around the blue way and singing Bangura. Fans calling and went, you know what? He's actually all right, isn't he? And and the goal he scored towards the end of the season, all the players jumping on him
Yeah.
because he thought, what a hit that is, kid. You know, it's just going these. For me, he's too injury prone, isn't he? Unfortunately, but yeah, like you said, but teams are targeting us both flanks. They know where to hit us. They know our weaknesses. We might have all the chess pieces there to do something this season, but if they get round the players in front towards our back line, get around the sides, you've got us in bother every time. It's so frustrating because you can see it happening, you can see it coming, but there's nothing you can do about it because we just haven't got the tools.
I mean, it was good to see, in the game we came back 3 times,
Yes.
but we're playing the team at the bottom of the league. That's the most frustrating thing. With the amount of goals that we've scored on the road, I think we've been the highest scorers away from home. Like you said, it's the weakness at the back that's killing us. You look at the goal that we scored, Doak running down the wing, knocking it back, deflection, straight to Housen who hits it, and again that takes deflection and goes in. I didn't think their goalkeeper was up to much, if I'm honest with you.
Same. It was. Yeah, I didn't think he was brilliant. I thought every shot that we had towards target, he was going to struggle with. I can't think of a moment where I thought that's a cracking save, that, or that's a well positioned save. It was either tamedly straight at him or hit the back of the net. And like you said, the equaliser came, Housen scored. It was within a few minutes of the second half starting. It's like we had the rocket, launched up us, said, you go sort that out. And I felt when we got that goal, and I felt you could feel it around the ground as well, there was only one winner. Because, not one player celebrated. Obviously had a few people, a few players going the way and saying, come on. But Housen just went, go and get the ball. Go and get the ball. Let's go sort this. It's our fault. Let's sort it. But, again, player gets in round the back of Borges. Unfortunately, Edmondson does slip. He's probably one of Edmondson's worst games in the Borough shirt. I don't think the conditions helped him a lot. But I'm not going to give him that excuse. It was the same for everyone. And then they got in exactly the same position again. One thing I would say about Plymouth, the art of time wasting was taken to another level. Another level. There was one, I think it was Ryan Hardy up front. I mean, I've learned later on he's got a gash in his leg, right? I'm sorry, that's no excuse. You can still walk with a gash in your leg, right? He walked
he was on the bed, wasn't he? On the bed on the side of the pitch.
Honestly, he walked to about 6 inches of the byline and sat down. And we were like, what are you doing, you absolute melt? Get up. Get up and get off the pitch. Obviously, I say melt. Can't say what we obviously said, but... And their fans weren't keen on us saying, why are you booing him? He's just walked there. He's walked there and pointed at his leg. I'm sorry, right? Unless you snapped your leg in that instance, get off the pitch. Stop wasting my time.
Roll off.
Yeah, exactly. Roll off. And another player did it as well. He went into a 50-50 towards the top end of the pitch on their left-hand side. And then he went down about a minute later as well. And I thought, is there a bit soft here, lads? Like, what's happening here? But, meant or not, that disrupted us. That disrupted our flow. And that's when the second goal came because it caught us off guard. Edmondson slipped. And I can't even remember who scored their second goal. You
I
know, it was
think
exactly the same sort of goal.
the disappointing thing for me about the second goal is, so the ball goes past Borges. Obviously, the player finds himself in behind Borges, and I get Edmondson slips, but Edmondson's coming across to cover. But Borges can see that Edmondson's coming across to cover, and there didn't seem like any urgency from Borges to bust a gut to try and close the space where Edmondson would be. And I've watched it a couple of times, and I don't know if Borges can get there. I think he can, and I think he can put it out for a corner.
I thought that at the time when I was watching it. I thought, why is it's a half-hearted run?
Yeah,
you know, a bit of a jog. And I thought, if you really put the legs in, Lee Fisher just come and say apparently it was ACL in the end. Lee, I get that, I fully do. But if you can walk towards the byline, you can get off the pitch. You know, it's just one more step. I could have pushed him and he fell off it. Come on, you know. I hope he does recover well, soon, and everything's all right. But it took the mick a bit there for me. But yeah, you're absolutely right about the second goal. I felt like we gave in a little bit, and it was like, I've kind of done my bit now. It's up to you in the middle. You have got to sort it now, and they didn't. And the guy just ran straight through the middle of us, and it's just same goal again, tapping again. Sol Brink concedes 3, and I can't even say one of them was his fault. I really can't.
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to save them? Poor lad. But we get back into the game again. He makes the changes. McGree comes off. I mean, Riley McGree had potentially the worst game I've seen in a Borough shirt for him. I really did. I didn't know where he played on Saturday. He was supposed to be on the left-hand side, drifted. You could see by about minute 5 where he wanted to play. He was coming inside so much, so much. And I thought, that's not your position anymore. Go to the left where you've been told. And I fully get he's probably been told, try and do that, try and stifle him. But Borges needs help on that left-hand side. You can see the ability is not quite, there, as much as we want it to be. And that's not me just criticising him too much. He's still a professional footballer, still gets paid a lot of money for it. He still needs help on that side. Dykesteel's got Dork. McGree just didn't help Borges at all. And they saw that coming every time, and they capitalised on it. But it was, But we got back into it. The changes we made. Barlasser came on. Even at the time, I thought, oh, God. But linked up well with Bergzorg, another one that came on. And then it's another one that came on. Last year, I had his little bit of in the play as well. He linked up with Bergzorg quite well. And then Hackney, as lucky as he got, and the ball came straight back to his feet. But he had to be in that position, didn't he? And he got that finish. And it just shows if we do go down, we're not going to just lay it down like we usually do.
Yeah, I think he missed a chance that was a little bit later on in the game that was harder to miss than it was to score. But I think his goal definitely goes down to dodgy goalkeeping. He's hit the ball straight at him. It's ricocheted back to Hackney, and then Hackney's just slotted it home. I think the keeper would be really disappointed, but we were back into the game at that point, and we brought Lath on, so that gives you a new lease of life. Bergzorg, like I say, with his attacking threat. But again, they go down the other end and score.
It just comes from exactly the same position, but just the other side. Dykesteel was caught ball watching, and he was caught napping with the player going in around the back of him, and the ball came across. And I remember this one. This was Mustafa Bundu who scored this one. I remember this one, and you just felt we were in the same position after the second goal. There was only one winner. I thought we'd go on and win this. We'd win 3-2. But with them scoring, it was just, I mean, you've been in many away, like me, 80 odd minutes in, and you hear a roar like that from the away end, you just fear the worst. You think, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's painful. It's horrible to watch as well, because we all saw the goal coming because it was just too easy. Simple, effective football got us again. And you think, how's a team that scored 19 goals all season got 3 against us? How's that happened?
It's crazy how I watched Tottenham play Man United the other night, and I watched Liverpool play Tottenham at the weekend, and
Oh,
I think we're as close to Tottenham in the Championship
yes.
as I've seen us close to a Premier League team. We've got one way of playing. We don't shut up shop. We don't grind games out. We just play the same way. We live apart from we leave subs probably a bit later than Tottenham do. And it's kind of you score 3, we'll score 4 mentality.
It is, isn't it? And as it, I mean, my old man's a Spurs fan, and I say to him, "You are as close to us as you fit. You don't even realise how close you are." And you keep saying, "Oh, don't be daft." Honestly, put us both side by side. It's scary. I mean, we watched the Liverpool game on the way home yesterday. And the countless hours of time we spent on the motorway yesterday coming home, and we saw Fraser Forster trying to play out from the back, and I just looked in and thought, how much does that remind you of Senny Dieng at times? How much does that remind you of our keepers? You know what I mean? I know Dieng's now dropped and Brin's in, but Brin uses the long ball more effective and he uses it more often than Dieng did. He's very, I'll play it short at every given opportunity. He's probably been told to. I fully get that. People in the comments are saying about his, Carrick's tactics. I fully get that. But honestly, put us side by side with Tottenham. We are the Tottenham of the Championship. It's scary to say it, but we are. Hans Postecoglou came out after the game yesterday and said, "Are you not entertained?" Yeah, but Jamie Carragher also came out and said, "You won't win anything playing like that." And he's absolutely right.
Carragher's right, isn't he? I think the way that he says that his analogy where he said, I want it to be sunny every day and I want to put my shorts on, but sometimes I've got to put a coat on because it's raining. And there are times where we've got to change it. And Tottenham certainly got to change it, but that's for a different a different show altogether. Yeah. But the goal again, we've touched on the left back again. He's nowhere to be seen, and it should be his man. He should be tighter too. But then thankfully we get a corner, we go up the other end, and Laugh, right place. I thought it looked like we'd worked on something like that. The way Laugh positioned himself and found himself, unmarked with the ball getting headed back across goal, and I thought it was a good set piece.
It was good. It was good header back from Van Vandenberg as well. He positioned himself really well, got the flick, and all of a sudden there's Laugh of a very clinical finish that puts him on 9 goals for the season. He just put him as our top scorer for the season. And Craig, isn't it? I know you do listen. You're halfway there, son. You're halfway there. Get that coming, them pennies. So to be fair, he might be paying out on his bet next week. If someone comes in with a 25 million bid, put the money down. But that's what Laugh does, isn't it? And I thought he was a very, very lively addition when he came on the pitch because Plymouth played a very high line and you could see it. I just thought if he started with Laugh, he'd been in behind every single time, because they made the mistake in the second half when he did come on that they still had the 2 seconds where they could think and pass. And by the time they took the touch to have a think, Laugh's on him. He was on the defender every time and nicked the ball. But one thing that did surprise me, obviously, game finished 3-3. We got a point. Very disappointed with the point as well. I thought we should have won that game. Ben Doak didn't have a great game. I thought their left back did really well with him. I thought he controlled him really well. I know he was on the yellow card. He got him booked, but after that, there was only a couple of occasions where Doak got in behind him and got the ball, to his man. And I thought, that's probably the best I've seen a left back play against Ben Doak for a long while in this league. There's been a lot of left backs, including Ryan Giles, has had an absolute nightmare with Ben Doak. But Gibbs, I think it was called Gibson, if I'm right, had a really good afternoon against him. I thought, fair play. They've clicked onto something. They doubled up in the right places where you see teams usually double up on the bar line and like the edge of the box. They never. They did a bit further out, and they thought if you get past one of us, the second one's going to be straight on you. And Gibson was there. He got the ball and he was away. But we've played these 3 times now in the last 2 seasons. Twice drew 3-3 and got beaten the other one. Are we starting to look at our new Rotherham?
I don't think it matters who's in the league. I think whoever's, our record against the bottom threes over the last few years has been questionable. I think if we've got real ambitions of going up, we've got to fight. We've got to grind these results out against these teams. I mentioned Rotherham last year where we got beat. Okay, we didn't get beat this time round against a team bottom of the league. But really, with the calibre of squad that we've got, we should be looking to beat them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't go places like that, especially when you go to Oxford 3 weeks previous and hit them for 6. This is the same sort of calibre of team. I'm not saying that Plymouth are as bad as Oxford or Oxford are better. They're in that bracket as the bottom 6, if you get me. The bottom 3 out of them bottom 6 will go down this season. I'm absolutely certain of this. And Oxford's in around that bottom 6. Obviously, Plymouth are in it. Hull are in it. I struggled big time on Saturday to understand how we didn't win that game. Say every team, our left back and right back don't. Then they just know where to go with us.
I think, let's be honest. We'd said at the start, do we think we'll go up? I think we all said, where would we finish? I think the majority of us said, look, roughly playoffs. We're at Christmas. We're getting to Christmas. We're coming at the Boxing Day, the New Year games, and we're there or thereabouts. We've just got to keep with the pack, and hit a good bit of form going into April and May, and hope you're still up there. Because let's be honest, you look at the teams who've come down, your Leeds, your Burnley, your Sheff United. They've still got that bit of quality, and it's going to be 2 of those 3 that start peeling away. We've just got to stay with the pack, get in the playoffs, and let's see if we can do the business there.
I love the fact you've just secluded Sunderland away from all that. They said you won't be part of
that. I feel no, and do you know what? Right, I dislike that lot more than most, but that's not. But I don't mean that to disrespect Sunderland, because I think when you look at you look at some of the players that Leeds have got, Sheffield United, they've still got that Premier League quality. Burnley, all right, they came straight back down last year, but they've been able to pay bigger wages for players. Callum O'Hare on a free looks a fantastic bit of business because he'll be on a decent whack.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's and I think those will start to peel away now. And I think as long as we're thereabouts, let's get to the playoffs and see what happens. I'd love to go top 2. Don't get me wrong, I'd absolutely love to go to top 2. And you win the next 5 games, and the results go right, and you're in touching distance, and it starts getting you excited again. But it's the consistency for us. We've been beaten too many games, and it's the whole Tottenham. You score 3, we'll score 4. If you look at how many goals we've conceded, it's far too high for you to say you're going to go top 2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember Leeds trying to do this a few years ago, didn't they? And they got beat by Derby in the playoffs. Fair enough, it was one of the most amazing playoff games you'll ever see. But they still did it. They still had they still had that in them from Bielsa. Let them score 2 because we'll score 3. Don't worry about it. And it tripped them up so much. Yeah. Daniel Farke is a bit guilty of that last season. He's reined them in a bit this season. They tried that last year and they lost in the playoff final, and that's why. Because they failed at the final hurdles because they were trying to beat teams by 2 and 3, and they shouldn't have been. Yeah. So, yeah, forget about the top 3, top 4 for now. Cement our place in the playoffs because the chasing pack are on us. West Brom are identical to us at the moment. Same goal difference, same points. We need to focus on ourselves, get some results back under the belt. You know what I mean? We've only won a couple of games out of our last 6, so we need to refocus again and get ourselves back in. So, do you want to give a man of the match for Plymouth?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't see all of the game. I only watched the highlights, so I wouldn't be able to give one just on the highlights. So I'll hand this baton to you for man of the match.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it was my most sore I've been at a football match. People won't be shocked about that. But I thought, I thought Johnny Howson was brilliant. I did. I know he got brought off to bring the fresher legs in midfield. I thought Vandenberg was really good as well. But my man of the match is probably going to be, for as little time as he was on the pitch, I thought Latte Laugh. I thought he caused so many problems. And you just look at him and you think, if he'd have started, we might have probably had them beat because his pace was just such a problem for him. And anybody who wants to watch it back can see the pace is just such a problem. So, yeah, that's, for me, Latte Laugh. But, I'm quite angry I didn't. Before I do move on, I did get a charity bell. Yellow card came in again. Mr. George Edmondson, I tip my hat to you. So we're up to the banging total of £28 so far. So we're doing okay. We're starting to build the pennies. So yes, we'll keep going. Following on from that, Christmas. We've got two big games coming. We'll be doing exactly the same next week. We'll be previewing two games again. Let's say which with Hull and Cardiff we'll be playing. But pin the four together, Dally. We've got 3 home games out of 4 now. Yep. This is where we need to be targeting, don't we? We need to be if we're going to put together of 4 games, get 3. See if you want to get 3 wins, 1 draw, don't you, out of 4.
I think we say this every few games, though, don't we? I think you've got it. We've got to just take it one at a time. It's the old cliche because we always say, we've got to take 6 points out the next 9, and I think it would be really nice to hit that. We've got say 3 home games. We know Boxing Day against Sheffield Wednesday is a sellout, which will be brilliant. The next fixture against Burnley is on the Sunday evening at 8:00. It'll be brilliant for them to get a bumper crowd there as well, and take points off Burnley, and then you go into it'll be Hull away after that.
Yeah.
In it'll be we've got a sold out away and down at Hull.
Yes.
And it would be brilliant to take us at maximum points. It then starts picking your ears up and thinking, okay, we're in with a chance here. But I think let's just concentrate on Thursday's game against Sheffield Wednesday. I think it'll be a hard game. They're only 3 points behind us, and they're kind of going about it quietly.
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of interest from other clubs in their manager Danny Role, and you can see why. He's been with them for a little bit now. He's doing a fantastic job. He's doing a brilliant job with Sheffield Wednesday. They didn't start the season in a great place. People looked at them as early season contenders. Then after the first 5-6 games, thought maybe not. But they did this last year. But last year didn't quite kick on. This year they've kicked on. They've got the players to kick on, and they've moved to get. We've got to look at these, haven't we, and say these are a real threat. We're not just playing any other team, mid-table team. We're playing a fellow, playoff contenders on sort of Thursday, aren't we?
Yeah, a big football club, Sheffield Wednesday, aren't there? And I think they've had the troubles down the lower end of the league last season. And like I said, I think he's doing a brilliant job, Rolling, and it'd be interesting to see how they play when we come up against them. I mean, I haven't watched them week in, week out, to be honest with you, but I think there'll be a tough challenge when you look at the form that they've been in over the last 5 games. I think over the last 6 games, I think they've won 4, drawn 1, and lost 1.
Yes,
could be. I think that's their form, and I think it'll be a real tough game. But let's hope a decent crowd at the Riverside, a sold out crowd will help us over the line.
Yeah, I mean, we said last week, Boxing Day's always got the potential of being, especially one of the other side. We've had big attendances and we've done amazing things on Boxing Day. I look back at the games of when Robson scored the screamer against Hull, beating Forest at home 3-0 when Vossam absolutely terrorised them. We've had big Boxing Day games at home, and I just hope this is another one where the big crowd behind them, and it's a full away end as well. They've only been given just over 2,000, and they've filled it, which I fully expected them to do anyway. Because like you said, they're a massive club, Sheff Wednesday. But I just feel that why should we be scared of this? This opposition, this opportunity. Yes, they're flying, but we're the home team, and I just feel we're okay. We're still in the top 6, and I feel like we could really punish them. And they're a bit unbalanced at the back. What I've seen of them so far, they're a bit like us. They like to go forward. They like to attack teams. But I see no fear, and I'll come straight into the prediction before we predict Burnley. I'll come straight to you, Dally. I hope you're going to go 1-1.
1-1.
Are you going 1-1?
Yeah, I'll go 1-1 because we do all right when I go 1-1. If I start predicting wins, we get beat.
All right, okay. Goal
1-1. I'm going to say, I'll say Hackney 1 each.
Okay. I said Hackney on Saturday, he scored, so I'm going 3-2. I think it'll be a cracking game. I do. 3-2 because we can't keep clean sheets. Let's face it. 3-2, and there's plenty of choices for goals. I keep thinking Ben Don't might get a goal, but I'm going to go Latte Laugh. I think Latte Laugh will start on Boxing Day, give him a bit of pace up front, and I think, we'll just get the odd goal of 5 and win the game 3-2, and then that'll take us nice into Sunday night's game. Firstly, right before we start the game, whose idea was that to put that on a Sunday night? Whose idea was that?
Could be a messy one in town, I think. Be a few.
You're telling me, like, who at Sky for? You know what, right? I fully get that. Probably will be like Super Sunday on Sunday because I know the Premier League have separated all the games out a bit, haven't they, over the festive period. Sunday, 8 o'clock. Why did Sky? You know what, right? People are enjoying, the darts, as I am at the moment, things like that over the festive period. Middlesbrough Burnley, 8 o'clock Sunday. Who fancies a bit of that? While you're tucking into your tub of miniature heroes. Sorry. Come on. It's under this scheme of you'll get so many games on the telly this season. I'm sorry, right? It's like the other week when Fleetwood played Notts County on the telly. Sunday, 2 o'clock.
At least it's over Christmas and it's not the middle of February. You'll hopefully you'll still have a lot of Borough fans who travel home for Christmas. They'll still be around. I can't grumble too much because I'm off on the Monday, so like Boxing Day when I'm back at work on the Friday. So like I say, strange kick-off time, but all the fixtures will have played before as well, so we'll know where we're about to be, what we need to do. See how we get on.
Yeah. Well, you put the question to us. I'll put it back to you. How do you think we get on against Burnley? You say 1-1 for Sheff Wed. What are you thinking for Burnley?
1-1. No, I think Burnley. I think I'm going to go 1-0 Borough, and I'm going to say like I laugh.
Yeah, I'm thinking tight game. I predicted Burnley win the league start of the season. Yes, they've not fired on all cylinders, but Scott Parker is doing what Scott Parker does in this league.
Drags team through.
Plodding. They're plodding, and they're plodding quite well. And I just feel 2-0 win. Goal wise, I'm going to say Bergzorg. I think Bergzorg going to goal. I like Bergzorg. He's proven me wrong. I will happily say he's a bucking Bronco because he really is. He will go wherever he wants to on that pitch, but you can't knock his results because he puts the ball in the net and he puts the ball on the plate for others. I can't knock that. And if you want to keep bucking away and doing what you want, around the pitch and being in every position possible, crack on and do it. Because if you keep producing the goals and assists, I'm more than happy to see it. So, yeah, and the potential of Aidan Morris. There's a potential. He's back on grass. He's back running. Carrick's happily said, he had a little bit more time in America to recover and get his knee right and think. He's now obviously back in the UK. He was straight back on the pitch. He was straight running again. Could we see Aidan Morris over Christmas? Yes or no?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Boxing Day. I think Burnley might come too soon, but I think Hull away might be the one where you see him.
Very good. There's another one, Sky. New Year's Day, 5:30. Who thought that
Yeah.
was a good idea as well?
Uh,
Are you going to that?
yes, yeah, I'll be down there.
Yes, I'll be down there too. It'd be rather lively in front of a sold-out away end, as usual. So, but before we go, I will say, just keep an eye on our socials. I'll get Mrs. Donovan to put the outcome of the food bank drive that they had before the Millwall game. I know that those figures coming, but he hasn't had time to release them. He was too busy celebrating turning 28 again over the weekend. He had a fabulous weekend. He says that he passed on his thanks for all his birthday messages as well. So, but yeah, that's it. We're done. Dally, thank you very much for popping on, having a chat with me. People say it's always boring when there's only two here, but I thought we did all right there. And I'll see you on Boxing Day, Thursday.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes, and so all you liking, subscribing, commenting, and just being there, listening to us when we're talking absolute rubbish. Merry Christmas. Have a cracking Christmas. Whatever you're doing with your family, your friends, whatever it may be. I always say at Christmas, make the effort to make that phone call to the person you never thought you might do, because they might need it, especially over this time of year. So, it's no good anyone being alone at Christmas. So, yes, have a good one with all your loved ones. I will. Now I've put a ring on it. She's very happy. So, yes, I'll see you all Boxing Day. Be safe. Be seeing you. Up the borough.
Up the
Ta-ra.